Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on my video so I could show you how I master this song. It's called Sayakabo. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do when I get a song is make sure that my ceiling has enough room. That way when I add my plugins, it doesn't start clipping. I want it to be under -8, so I'm going to go through each part and see how high it is. Now this part is the beginning is pretty low, so it's -10. First chorus. Okay, -7.9, not too bad. Second chorus, -7.7, not too bad. So let's look at the last chorus, because it has a lot in it. -5.7. Okay, so now it's around -6. Perfectly fine. All right, so let's get into my chain. I'm also want to let you know that I always have a track for mastering. I don't put my mastering plugins on my stereo out. So I have my mix track, I have my master out track, and then I have my stereo out right here. So, and everything is routed to one another. First thing I like to do is put an EQ, and I'm going to take out 30 from the bottom. Now, in order to hear how you want the bottom to sound, I'm going to drop out the top. I'm going to turn it up so you can hear. And then you could decide how much dB you want to take out. I wanted the 48, so we're going to do that. Next, I'm going to add a compressor. So for this one, any standard compressor will do. I want the threshold to be 0, the ratio to be 3, the attack to be 3, and the release to be 80. This way, the song becomes even. Next on my chain is a spectrum curve. I want to see how much bass, how much mid and highs I have. This is a very bouncy song, so it's all over the place, but it has bass, as you can see. This is all the instruments, which is really cool. And these are some of the high harmonies. Next, I want to add a multi-band compressor. So in this song, in the ending, there's so many different things happening. I have a lot of backgrounds because I stacked and stacked and stacked until I got to the last chorus, and it wasn't shining through. I obviously wanted to hear some bass, but I also wanted to hear the background vocals. So there's a preset called backing vocals. So backing vocals clear. So first, let me let you hear how it sounds without it. Could barely hear it. All right, so then with it on. Watch this right here. You don't want it to clip. Any of your plugins, you don't want it to start clipping. And if it does, just turn it down a little bit. Okay, so not only do I want to hear the background vocals, I also want the bass and those drums to really be punchy. So I'm going to do a little bit adjusting over here. And then I'm going to turn this output down so it's not clipping anymore. It's going up to 3. So I'm gonna drop this down a little bit because I want to add a couple other things as well. And we could always go back to this and push it back up, but right now I don't want it to clip, so. Okay, I just turned it up on my mixer just a little bit. So next on my chain is the tape saturation. Sometimes you don't even need any drive. Just having it on is fine. And this one is a dual one. Next, I put on a limiter, and I normally put it on -1. We'll come back to this because we're gonna have to actually look at the volume when putting it on streaming services, and it has to be a certain level. So next on my list is another compressor. Once again, all you need is a standard compressor. So for this one, you want your ratio to be 2, your attack to be 75, and your release to be auto. Now this one right here is for dynamics, all the different dynamics, so it doesn't bleed over into the next one, and it's pretty clear once you export it. And adjust this as you please. From there, I want to put on a maximizer. And I wanted a pop one just because this is such a punchy song. From there, like I said, there's a lot of background vocals in this, and I want each of them to shine properly. So my next plugin is a stereo enhancer, and I want to widen it basically. All right, that sounds really good right there. I also want to put a dither at the end, and this is determined by why, what does the client need it for, or what do you need it for? Is it for a streaming service? And since this is for a streaming service, it's going to be 16, and I'm going to put it on high. So once you export it, it'll do what it needs to do. All right, so now let's look at my stereo track. I have one plugin on there, which really isn't a plugin. It's really just for monitoring. And it's this. So there are two things that we need to pay attention to: the true peak and the integrated. So the true peak, you want it to be under -1. It's -4, which is perfectly fine. But right here, this is our integrated, and it's supposed to be -14. So it's a little loud. But we also have to consider that the beginning of the song is lower than the ending. So it'll basically average out. So we're just gonna try to listen through and see how high this goes in the beginning. Let's go to the first chorus to see. Okay, so this is your second chorus. -15, so let's go to the last one. Okay, so now it's actually saying that it's okay, -14.4. Okay, so now what we need to do, make sure that you have all your fade outs on. I have fade outs. I did my fade outs during my mixing process, but I had to increase it, so I did it here. So what we're gonna do is export this. Then I have another test for loudness that I can show you. Let's export that. Okay, so that's bounced out. You want to go to loudnesspenalty.com, find the file that you just bounced out. And this is going to tell you how much each streaming service is going to increase or decrease your song. Okay, so Spotify is going to increase it a little bit. Pandora is going to decrease it a little bit. So it's not. So my video cut out before. It may cut out again, but I want to show you a couple other tricks to this. Now, when it comes to excitement, I wanted this to be a little more excited sounding. And so what we're going to do is go to the EQ, and you can add about 1.5 to 2 dB at 10K, and it's going to make the difference. This is it before. And sounds a little more exciting. Not only that, now if you want your listeners to perceive that the song is louder than it really is, we could go to the fourth band. Let's get back to one of these songs, courses. And we could drop. We could go to 1K and drop. So that way, when they turn it up, all those drums are surrounding your voice. It's a neat little trick. You don't want to decrease too much, but That's a little, you know, an excitement trick as well. But in my case, I have these beautiful harmonies at the top. So I'm gonna, oops. I'm just gonna increase by 10K so I could hear the oohs. There's like a bunch of oohs on top. Let me see if I can let you hear the top. Yeah. I wanted that to shine, so. And there we go. Guys, once again, thanks so much for clicking on my video to watch how I mastered my song, Sayakabo. It should be out soon. Thanks for watching.